What it do, Dream Team? It's your boy D-Neil back with another reaction video, guys. Here we are with the story of Only Fools and Horses, Season 1, Episode 5, Behind the Scenes. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring notification bell, get a video a thumbs up so it gets suggested. What we got?
Away you go then.
Why I go what?
Well, you know, start the old typing.
Yeah, be creative. I can't just be creative at the drop of an hat, can I? There are certain things a writer needs before he can actually start writing. Like a story.
What a very pleasant evening.
We as actors, I know David and I discussed this once, couldn't wait for the Fools and Horses script to flop through the letterbox.
And when we were in the office waiting for the next script, you'd have to stop people else reading it because you needed to read it first. And then, but there were people going, let's go and have a laugh.
John Sullivan wrote 64 episodes in total, which were anything from 30 minutes to full feature-length epics.
We're going to Holland, Rudders. We're going to Holland.
From John Sullivan's imagination to our TV screens took an army of BBC production staff and a whole host of actors who had little time to turn each script into a comedy classic.
When we're doing the read-through, for me, that was like watching Fools and Horses for the first time. And we'd all sit around and we'd read the script, and the first reading, it would go to maybe 45 minutes because we're laughing so much.
Now, this is a Jaws-type story.
Jaws has been done, though.
Yeah, no, it's been done, but this is different. It's called There's a Rhino Loose in the City.
It's called There is a Rhino Loose in the City.
There's a loose in the... As in rhinoceros.
That's right. There's a rhino loose in the city.
What's it about, Del?
John Sullivan, his beamy face at read-throughs, you know, if you looked up at him when there was a particularly huge laugh line, and he'd just be so chuffed but trying not to show it, you know, because that was his payoff, was knowing that if we, round a table, found it very, very funny, then it was very likely that the 24 million people watching it were going to find it funny too.
I used to watch John a lot, and he would just keep his head down, he'd just nod quietly to himself. And I'd think, you clever bugger, you've just crafted this incredible gag or joke or situation. The table is in bits, we're falling about, can't breathe in fast enough. And you're just there going, yeah, that's all right, that's all right. Nobody knows it's escaped. What about the 8 million people living in London? Don't none of them spot it?
Yeah, but the ones who spot it, they're the ones who gets trampled to death.
What about all the others? The people in offices, the people in cabs, the people sitting on tops of buses. It's a rhino, Del.
He only comes out at night.
What is it, a vampire rhino?
Guys, I'm excited because my girlfriend's about to join me and doing reaction videos, and I get to react to the whole show again, like with her, and like be sitting her and get to see her like reaction to the show and in each episode, and I get to go do it again and laugh my butt off. I'm so excited. I can't wait.
But once the script is written, any untold number of problems can throw production into chaos.
We were in the production office one day and we got a phone call from Patrick Murray, who plays Mickey Pearce, and we were about to start rehearsals for an episode, and then found out that he'd broken his arm.
Ooh.
Mickey Pearce couldn't be on our screens bandaged up without it being part of the story. And with rehearsals beginning the following day, the obvious decision would be to cut the character from the script.
What John Sullivan did, he said, tell him to come in, I'm going to rewrite it. And what he did, he wrote my injury into the episode.
Danny Driscoll said this was a friendly warning. I'm sorry, Del. We had to tell him you'd taken the phones.
They've got it in their heads that you're trying to con them. They're looking for you, Del.
So it all made sense. So I could do the episode. And I turned up at 8 o'clock in the morning at the rehearsal rooms, and there was no one there. And then suddenly the doors burst open, and all the cast came in wearing false arms and broken legs from the props department. You know, you all right? How's it going? I went, oh.
Even with the funniest scripts, you still need comedy performers to get the laughs out of the lines.
I'm getting married.
And among such a gifted and experienced cast were a couple of leads who happened to be two of the finest comedy actors of their generation.
Macbeth said to Hamlet in Midsummer Night's Dream, "We've been done up like a couple of kippers."
We were very lucky to hit it off from day one with professional mutual respect. And of course a friendship as well, and brothers in arms.
A very important element was the relationship which Nick and I had. He was so easy to get along with. In other words, we were really good partners.
During rehearsals, I always watched because I was fascinated by the way the two of them worked together.
I love it. Yeah. The on screen, bro, so believable that they were brothers. The chemistry was perfection. Also, I'm not surprised these two worked together so well and had such a good friendship and a mutual respect for each other because, yeah, they were perfect on screen together.
And the timing often surprised me.
All right?
It was always just right.
But the comedy chemistry wasn't always there. In our exhaustive trawl of the archives, we have found their first ever on-screen meeting. 4 years before Any Fools, a curiously Del-like David is being interviewed on a kids' TV show by a familiar-looking 16-year-old Jonathan Ross wannabe.
I was going to say, did you enjoy... Did you enjoy doing... Forgotten.
You've forgotten? No, well, that is a very good point.
Thankfully for us, Sir David Jason and Nicholas Lyndhurst became masters of their craft.
Chicks. That scene where I was taking all the disrobing, it's about the timing. And it's all down to David's and Nick's reaction.
Because the audience doesn't know, and he looks like, you know, everybody's image of a pop star, it's got to be a series of reveals.
Yeah, well, my name is Derek Trotter of the Derek Trotter International Stars Agency, Peckham. You can call me Del.
Make it go dum, dum.
Now, I've already got a confirmed booking at the Starlight Rooms with an option on a long-term...
Dum.
I don't get many bookings.
Suddenly, there is no pop star there at all.
And then the final thing is that the character Tony Angelino takes out his codpiece. It was that moment really which took the most choreographing, and I remember David Jason basically sort of, saying, "Oh no, Rodders, you've got to turn away at that point, so when I turn around with the sausage, you haven't seen what's gone before." It was like learning with real pros. You thought, I've arrived.
So wait a second, I'll just turn the sound up.
Rehearsals would take place over 2 days before the final recording. And in our search to show you some unseen gems, we have uncovered some very rare tapes of the team at work.
Is your name Trotter?
Yes, that's my name, Mr. Yeah.
Is that your yellow van, Alan?
Well, the one with a trotter written on the side. Yes, that's mine. What, the one with a trotter written on the side? Yes, that's mine.
They worked to perfectionism in the rehearsals. on everything they did, particularly for the comedy timing.
We're in the process of questioning owners of all such vehicles.
Ah, well, in that case, officers, look no further.
They would work until it was 100% right.
It was me, it's a fair cop, I done it. It's a fair cop, I done it.
Ah, Dave.
You disappoint me, Uncle.
Mr. Trotter,
Yes.
either you're not taking this very seriously, or you don't understand the full implications of your last statement.
Yes, well, look, I am a bit pushed for time, sweetheart, so, can we get on with it? Come on, hurry up. Come on, get him off. Hey. Come on, get him off. Come on. Come up with something a bit more original than that, Uncle.
It's got nothing to do with me, son.
It wasn't anything to do with you. What?
That moment you realize, I'm going to jail. I just effed up.
Oh my God.
Nick him.
Coming up in the show, we see when things behind the scenes don't go according to plan.
So our old skipper, Captain Conworthy, he used to...
And how the Only Fools and Horses team hoodwinked an audience on another classic BBC show.
What do they think they're doing? They're on top of the pops.
Everyone thought we were a real band.
Welcome back to the story of Only Fools and Horses, as we take a look behind the scenes and find out from the cast and crew what it was really like to make one of Britain's most loved comedy shows.
Studio audience stuff, I'm sure the rest of the guys have told you, is the worst of both worlds, really. Because you've got the technical precision of camera, you've got the technical precision of lights, shadows, booms, all that sort of stuff, but you've also got the audience. And you could hear them outside your dressing room door, and that's when the adrenaline really started.
Okay, here we go.
When the theme tune comes onto the programme, all I remember and all it brings back in me is standing in the wings at White City in one of those huge studios, feeling very much like a first night in the theatre and thinking, oh my God. And you knew you could stop. You knew if things went wrong, you could do it again. You knew David particularly was a master at, making the audience, if a mistake happened, join in, which of course they just loved even more.
Now, our old skipper, Captain Kenworthy, he sort of allayed those fears by creating a counter-worry. Like the day he announced there was a cholera epidemic on the ship.
Oh, did he?
Given that pressure, it's not easy for anyone. When we first started to do the show, bless him, old Buster found that pressure was huge.
So our old skipper, Captain Conworthy, he used to...
On one particular show, he got himself in such a state that I could see that he was beginning to lose it completely. So I stopped the recording and I took Buster behind the set and I said, don't worry about it, forget it. If you go wrong, I said, the way to get back on song, I said, is to send yourself up. They will find that funny and they will be on your side. I think.
I freaking, bro, they're such good actors, bro. And you don't, you see the show and you don't think about all these little things. You just see the show and it's an incredible show, iconic show, hilarious show. You're not thinking about everything that goes on behind the scenes. You're not thinking about the rehearsals. You're not thinking about the chemistry between the characters. You're not thinking about all these little intricacies that go into making this show the show that it is. And it's so dope to kind of get these episodes of them telling the stories behind the scenes. It's incredible.
A lot of what I'd said had got through to him. Because from that moment on, Buster really started to take off. And he managed brilliantly and became the old git that we loved dearly.
Like one day he announced there was the cholera epidemic on this fish.
Just throwing that in. Yeah, so that was a very good ad lib there, Buster. I like that,
Under the bright intensity of the studio lights, the team had years of laughter with the studio audience, watching their every missed cue, stumbled line, and dropped prop.
I don't quite understand what you mean, Mr. Trotter.
No, well, I didn't expect you to understand it straight away, Reverend. I mean, it is a... oh, it's a
But going on location meant freedom from those constraints. And on one particular occasion, all the male members of the cast went filming on a Jolly Boys outing.
That's so
The Jolly
dope.
Boys outing was like 5-6 weeks filming on location. And it was, we just had so much fun.
They had this wonderful fairground there called Dreamland. And all these wonderful sort of retro rides, you know, a scenic railway and all the helter-skelters and the roundabouts and so on. And the brief was we had to go on all these rides while they filmed us.
Should I spill the beans on Paul Barber? Yeah. Paul, who played Denzel, didn't really want to go on any of the rides. I thought it might be quite fun. And as it started to get higher and swing more and more and more, I could see him gripping his thighs harder and harder. And then when it went over, there is no soundtrack, thank heavens, but the lip readers amongst us might be able to see that Paul wasn't super happy with what was going on. I know what he...
I can read lips enough to know what he said in that moment.
Saying because he was screaming it in my ear, but I'll leave it to the rest of you to decide for yourself.
Alongside the familiar cast members, there were dozens of one-off characters coming in and out of the show's 22-year history.
What have you done to me?
Among them, many actors familiar to us for their long and illustrious careers.
Remember you? I'm still having nightmares about you, Dad.
And some who would even go on to win Oscars.
Surprise, surprise! Slater!
But given the enduring love the British public have for the series, even if you've only been in one scene,
Thank you, waiter.
you are part of a very special group.
Oi! Why is he getting seen before me?
You know, you can play such a small role, as I did, and yet still be sort of recognised for it.
Would you please keep your voice down?
No! It's a free country, and I could shout as much as I bloody well like.
To be fair, I was quite loud, and I did make a sort of a statement.
Do you hear that? You're all sodding useless!
Excuse me, sir.
What?
I was in one episode. And yet, people come up with their grandchildren, and, you know, the granddad will say, "Do you know who that is? Do you know who that is?" And the little sort of 4-year-old are going, "Tony Angelina." And they're going, "Why?" And you think, I can't believe this.
Kawaii, crying, kawaii.
Come on, Robin, give us some symbol! Symbols?
Even though that episode was over 30 years ago, people had come up and say, "Metal Miggy, do the song, do the song. 1, 2, I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4s.
1, 2, 3. I told you once, Robin, I'm not going to tell you again, son. I do the 1, 2, 3, 4.
I still get quite a lot of that.
1, 2, 3, 4. Listen here.
Landing a role on Fools and Horses is good enough on its own. But in his episode, Daniel Peacock also got to perform on another classic BBC show.
As a teenager, Top of the Pops was it. I mean, that was the show to be on. That was the show everyone talked about.
This is Boys Will Be Boys from a bunch of Wallies.
Boys Will Be Boys by the bunch of Wallies.
So to have the opportunity to actually be on Top of the Pops was kind of wonderful, and they didn't suddenly stop the show and say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we're now going to do a little bit for Fools and Horses, they just continued as if we were a real band, and everyone thought we were a real band and quite liked the song, which is a good song.
It's that bunch of Wallies. What do they think they're doing? They're on top of the pops.
Dave Hewlett, you know, he's a big actor now, was the guitarist in the band, and it was a funny one. When we came off from having done Top of the Pops, we were walking down the steps, and the Spandau Ballet are coming up. And they said, you charting? David Hewlett. He shouted, yeah, we're number 6. And they shouted at us, oi, we're number 6. So Spandau Ballet then starts shouting at their management, accusing their management of lying to them, because everyone thinks we're a real band. Now, we're sculpting the way down the corridor here. Spandau Ballet are left having this argument about are they number 6 that week or not? Or is it a bunch of Wallies?
Or is it a bunch of Wallies?
To the future of the Trotters.
Uncle Rodney. We were in makeup for a long time to make us look old. Don't need that now.
And we can reveal what really went into Del's exotic cocktails.
Somewhere in this glass is the Del Boy dream.
Welcome back to the story of Only Fools and Horses. As we go behind the scenes with the cast and crew to give you access all areas to find out the secrets of Britain's most loved comedy show. The team was always striving for authenticity, and when Del and Raquel were having a baby, John Sullivan wanted it to seem as real as possible.
Underneath the floor we were filming in was the actual birth unit. So they asked mums who just had a baby if any of them would volunteer. And of course, I think they got a lot of people saying yes.
We just walked through the ward, looked at the babies, and chose a very lovely baby. So some nice parents who came in, and that was the baby in that episode.
And I think it really did make a difference when that, you know, well-known scene now where David takes the baby to the window and talks to mum.
Oh, you are such a lucky little boy. You really are. You've got a mummy and daddy who think you're the most precious thing in the whole wide world.
You know, having this tiny little thing in his arms was really very moving. Just being in the room was moving, let alone the way it was filmed.
Give it me, sweetheart.
Always on the
I absolutely love this episode so freaking much, bro. The love that freaking Del Boy had and showed. Oh, he's such a good actor. He's such a good, because I believed every second of it. It was beautiful.
Up for a running gag. When John Sullivan introduced Damien Trotter to the world, he made sure that even a newborn would be in on the comedy.
Let me introduce you to Damien.
Yes, Rodney Trotter hoisted by his own petard, just by saying the devil child is going to arrive, and lo and behold, he did.
We receive this child in the congregation of Christ's flock and assign him with the sign of the cross.
I can't imagine this flat without Damien, can you?
No. Little devil.
Rodney.
He's just wandered in.
Cassandra, I locked the bedroom door. He rather grudgingly loved Damien, but I think he would have done anything for him if he stopped scaring him fartless all the time, yeah.
And it was Rodney's fear of the devil child which led to one of the most unusual scenes in Only Fools and Horses history.
The dream sequence at the top of Heroes and Villains is Rodney's dream, his nightmare about Damon as he grows older and Trotter's independent trading takes over the world. And we filmed at Battersea Power Station, which was fascinating in itself.
We decided to make it really good, and we actually even shot it on 35mm. We wanted to make it all look really filmy. And at the time, the Battersea Power Station was a shell, but it looked amazing.
Our jet copters arrived, Raquel.
I'll summon the maid.
We were in makeup for a long time to make us look old. Don't need that now.
There you are, Rodney. Where you been? Damien phoned for you. How is it going?
I know. State transportation workers have gone on strike.
On strike? I thought Damien had made strikes illegal.
Yes. The police were shooting them as I left.
That baby had made strikes illegal. Yes. The police were shooting them as I left. Jeez!
I thought it was very brave, but then John was a very brave writer, and why not set a part of a sitcom in the future?
That was brilliant. That was brilliant. And when we read it, you thought, oh my God, how will this work? What will people think of this? But again, how clever to set things in the future where Damien's like the devil and is running the world.
What's going on here? I ordered a messenger over an hour ago.
He's here, Damie. Damie's here.
Uncle Rodney.
We all had such fun doing that. I think we would have liked to do a whole episode like that, you know, more of it. Oh, I loved it, and being the maid was great.
Chandra, what are you doing here?
Damien took over my bank and fired me.
It was a really, really interesting sequence. I mean, for everybody, you know, design, makeup, costume, artists, the whole lot, just because, yes, it was completely different to anything that we would normally do.
This isn't fair.
Rodney.
It's not right. You shouldn't be doing this.
Rodney.
Yeah, I mean, what a clever idea. Because I think when an audience would watch that, they would have thought, well, this isn't the normal Only Fools and Horses. What on earth?
Yeah.
And then it sprung into just being a dream.
Rodney. 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 Rodney, wake up, you dipstick!
As well as coming up with fresh and unusual ideas for storylines, John Sullivan also enjoyed long-running gags that returned each series. Del's catchphrases.
Lovely
Oh.
His malapropisms.
My favorite catchphrase. You know it makes sense.
It was like St. Paul's journey on the road for Tabascus.
His gift for languages.
Pas de Calais, as they say in France.
And of course, his sophisticated taste for the finer things in life.
You don't like those sort of surroundings, do you? I mean, champagne, caviar, country clubs.
Oh, no, I hate it, Alan, I hate it. It's all put on. I mean, those people just do things for effect.
Oh, I love watching Del Boy get his drinks, bro. It was always funny, bro. Always.
Del's drinks were always spectacular.
Yes.
What you want is, you want a shot of tequila and a shot of coconut rum and one of creme de menthe. A large drambuie with lime, just a smidgen of Campari, topped up with soda, lots of ice, the merest suggestion of Angostura bitters, a slice of lemon and a little cherry on the top.
2 halves of lager, love.
He thought everything was gave him the height of sophistication and put him like that many cuts above the average person because his drinks always had an umbrella on it, you know.
Lager top for Rodney, and I'll have a Baileys and cherryade.
Somewhere in this glass is the Del Boy dream. You know, that right there is like, I don't drink pints.
Yeah.
I don't drink out of a bowl.
I swear.
I drink these cocktails, man.
I
That's
swear.
what I drink, Boise.
Yo.
It just sums it up. In that Nag's Head, the pub that we all know, he was like, no. This is what I'm going to drink, because one day I'll be in Miami on the beach drinking this. It was just brilliant.
I swear.
There was a few of us made the drinks. They weren't so disgusting that he couldn't drink them, but there was quite a mix in there. You
Oof.
don't have quite the juices that you have nowadays, so it was like blackcurrant and orange juice mixed up together, which wasn't very tasty.
You know, bonnet to douche. Lovely jubbly.
Lovely jubbly.
But of all the recurring props, long-running gags, and characters' catchphrases,
You're in the water.
I always love that when they did it before Granddad or before Uncle Albert would do it. They're in the war, because you knew it was coming every time.
There's one more than any other which says only fools and horses.
The van. Well, I mean, it's a joke in itself, isn't it, the van?
We sell this and get something more useful.
No, what?
Like a bus pass.
Bill was in love with this thing, and you'd have thought, because of his need to be a success and a yuppie and that he wouldn't have been seen dead in that machine. But for some reason, he didn't see that the Trotter's van was an old banger.
Do you reckon that you could get one of your mechanics to have a look at my van?
I know just the bloke. He had a family bereavement recently. You could do with a good laugh.
I know, because I used to have an old car, that when the engines get very warm, they pull oil up from the sump and the oil burns and you get grey smoke coming out the back. So we got a plastic bowl with a pipe and I said, I'll sit in the passenger seat and I'll press it and force oil into the carburettor. And you've got to be a bit careful how much oil you put in, because if you put too much in, it will jam up the cylinder. So I got this rear view mirror and I'm watching the smoke coming out the back. I'm thinking, ooh, that's a bit much, I better be careful. No, could do it a bit more.
There were often big stunts in Fools and Horses. One of them, one of the biggest probably, was the three-wheeler car chase.
This is my jungle, and I'm at the top of the tree.
It ended up with Rodney driving the three-wheeler and being chased by these yobs in an American car. We had lots of three-wheelers, actually, in the show. There were many for different purposes. They were all made to look the same. And that particular one that did the jump had to be specially reinforced underneath.
Why are we going so fast?
I love speed.
How are we going so fast? I love speed.
Cruise!
Yeah, but I like to cruise quickly.
You don't tend to fly through the air on a humpback bridge, as you'll know, and we even had to put ramps round on one side of it. And a stuntman managed to get it in the air as it leapt over the bridge. It was amazing.
Join us in the final part of the show where we find out the story behind the title and theme song.
Before I went into the studio, I had to have about 9 pints to try and calm my nerves.
And we revealed some behind-the-scenes footage which has never been broadcast ever before.
I think it's working now, Del.
Oh, right, come on, come and get in the shot then. That's it, stay in there.
Welcome back as we look behind the scenes of Only Fools and Horses and find out how it became the classic show we all know and love.
Oh, there you go, Chief.
After so many outstanding episodes, we now take for granted all the show's larger-than-life characters and perfect plot lines.
Buenos dias.
Slater.
But in the beginning, even the name couldn't be agreed upon.
The title of Only Fools and Horses had quite a difficult birth. Originally, John had written it as Reddy's. That was just really a working title. He'd wanted to call it Only Fools and Horses, and that was from the old adage of Only Fools and Horses worked.
So I used that and nobody knew what it was. And the BBC, they tried everything to change it. And I went in one day, and I think it was the first time I met Gareth Gwendolyn. And we just had a bit of lunch and a drink. I said, no, they want me to come up with this other title, and I just can't. And he said, he gave me the best advice ever. He said, go in there and just say to them, I can't think of anything. I'll leave it with you. He said, because they won't be able to. And I did. And I thought, God, I've really taken a gamble here, because they might come back and say, we're going to call it something really stupid. And about half an hour later, they phoned up and said, yeah, all right, we go with Only Fools and Horses then. So he was absolutely right.
I shot 6 episodes before I plucked up courage to say, so what's it actually mean? Only Fools and Horses, ... Because at the time they hadn't recorded the new theme tune. It was just Ronnie Hazelhurst, sort of generic bit of sitcom music.
When we did the first series, on the opening script, I wrote the title music should be Chaz and Dave, honky tonk, that kind of style. And Ronnie Hazelhurst is a very nice man and a great composer, but it wasn't right.
I feel that. Yeah, I absolutely love the theme that they ended up going with and that they got, bro. It's, I don't know. Everything about this show was gold.
But prior to that, I'd done a cassette of the version now with me singing. And I gave it to Ray and said, well, how about this one? And he said, yeah, let's do that. And he said, well, as you've written down Chaz and Dave, let's go to them. So we went, asked them, and they said, yeah, they do it. And then we had it all booked in the studio, and about 4 weeks before we went in, they had a #1 hit with a song called Ain't No Pleasing You, and we couldn't get them.
Dang.
So they said, well, you did that, you better come in and sing it.
The first time you find out that's John Sullivan doing that, you go, is it? And you're thrilled.
Before I went into the studio, I had to have about 9 pints to try and calm my nerves, and 9 pints usually I'm on the floor, but I was stone cold sober because of the nervousness of actually
every day, yeah. Nah, pints, I would assume you'd be on the floor, but yeah, it's certain things that like will just keep you in that sober state of mind.
Why do only fools and horses work? It is the most iconic of sitcom theme tune.
There's an authenticity about the words. There's fun in trying to sing along with it. And it is one of the few sitcoms that has a different beginning to an end theme tune.
We got some off-price crack guys, molds and molds of copy times, TVs, deep freeze, Chaz and Dave, LPs, ball game, boss names, and had a push. Some Trevor Francis tracksuits from a bush in Shepherd's Bush.
Trevor Francis tracksuits from a mush in Shepherd's Bush. Beautiful there. I mean, Shakespeare couldn't have written better than that, could he?
Or white, rich or broke, we'll cut price.
The great song written by John Sullivan about Hooky Street actually epitomises and describes exactly the world at large at that moment in time.
Man, you big Hooky Street,
Hooky Street is John Sullivan's musical homage to the backstreet deals where shady characters can get their hands on anything you want.
Shit. What'd you do, mug Mr. T?
The British public, as well as fans across the world, found the Trotters' dodgy dealings hilarious. But there were certain people in authority who didn't see the funny side.
Chris Woodhead, who was then the government chief inspector of schools, he criticised the programme, saying that the Trotters were poor role models. And I think John Sullivan was quite offended by this, as one might expect.
Occasionally, you'd get somebody in the Houses of Parliament, and they would be saying, "Oh, you're no better than Del Boy. You're a sort of Del Boy." Well, that paints the image that they were villains. That is not the case.
We freaking love. Who said this, bro? I need to talk to this man. We love Del Boy. We love Rodney, Uncle Albert, Granddad, Boise, Marlene, Denzel. We love all our guys.
John Sullivan sort of hit back in an article in a newspaper saying the Trotters might not be perfect. Dale's business deals are clearly not squeaky clean. But compared to perhaps some activities by politicians and by some captains of industry, Dale was not a bad man. Dale had raised his brother, looked after his elderly grandfather and their uncle. The show was rooted in family values.
Cheers, Del Boy. It's all right. Go out and buy yourself a crate of odoritas.
Yeah, I've heard they're good.
Oh, they are. Bloody murder to swallow, though.
But I think because it was so clearly a comedy world it was inhabiting, I don't think they ever felt like, well, you know what, we're encouraging this. I'm amazed, though. Nowadays they put it out, they probably have a warning at the front, saying the BBC does not endorse the kind of behaviour carried out by Del Boy and his gang of ruffians.
Far from the social pariahs some politicians accuse them of being, the Trotters were in fact upright citizens, as we are able to reveal with these rare and previously unseen Fools and Horses sketches.
I think it's working now, Del.
Oh, right, come on, then. Come and get in the shop, then. That's it. Stay in there. Right. Attention. Good evening, chaps. This is Derek Trotter talking to you from a secret location somewhere in southern England. It's
In the first, Del, Rodney and Albert send a message to the British troops fighting in the Gulf War. Written by John Sullivan, this sketch has never been broadcast before. So unless you were at the recording or served in Iraq, this will be a first.
Right, now listen, lads. I'm sending you this three-wheel van packed to the gunnels with goodies.
Oh, that's a nice gesture, Del.
Yeah, well, I'm a nice sort of person, can I? And I'm selling them to you at knockdown prices.
Now, what I'll pay, you are actually selling stuff to our folks in the Gulf.
At knockdown prices, Rodney. So there you go. You're going to get a bargain of a lifetime. I'm doing my bit for King and Country. Everyone's a winner. Vent terre, as they say in Saint-Tropez. No, seriously, though, boys, we just wanted to say from us, the Trotters, and all the people back here in the UK, we're very proud of what you've done. Yeah. I know that you've worked hard. We can't wait for you to come back here safe and sound so you can buy us all a pint.
Well, I suppose it's character-led again, isn't it? We know who they are, we know what they're talking about, and John, as usual, has slipped a few gag lines in which are funny.
The second sketch is a rare treat we have unearthed from Comic Relief, as the Trotters do their bit for aid to Africa, which hasn't been shown on British TV in 20 years.
In the war, real hardship. Refugees, entire families have lost their homes and didn't know where their babies' next meal were coming from. Same thing's happening today. You think you're hard up, Rodney? Well, think about Africa.
What are you talking about? I mean, if he can't afford to go to Greece, he certainly can't afford to go to Africa.
Oh my God, I freaking love these shows.
You know, all the starving people in Africa.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. We never really think about that, do we? Well, you know, we think we're hard up, but we've got a roof over our head, haven't we? And we eat every day.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said, wasn't it? One man's floor is another man's ceiling.
We couldn't help them people back in 1941 because we didn't have anything ourselves. The times have changed. I'd love to be able to just open a door and walk back into 1941.
I reckon anyone just walked back to 1941.
Yeah, all right. Good night, sweetheart. Yeah. Stupid Albert. I mean, I'm not a detective inspector, but even I can work that one out.
Nice. Lovely little scene.
I did notice that they made a sort of a quip to Goodnight Sweetheart, which I thought was clever. I mean, I was surprised. I was surprised by that. It's kind of one of those rules. You go, well, you know, don't do that. Why would you do that? Well, you're kind of breaking the fantasy here and what this is supposed to be. But I think if there's ever a time you can do that, it's for something like Comic Relief.
This isn't really Only Fools and Horses. We are working for Comic Relief. And what we would like to say at this specific moment in time is give us some dosh.
But they meant to send it to Comic Relief, not literally to us.
Leave this to me where we were.
I think you'd watch that and you'd send in your money, wouldn't you? Because
I would. I'd send in a $5 for sure. I'd send in a $5, mate.
Two national icons telling you about how other people's lives aren't quite so good as yours. So yeah, I think it's a real tribute to John and David and Nick.
And it's also another example of taking a really, really tricky subject and making it funny and also working.
Yeah.
Facts. I love that moment so much.
That we got a part in a lovely show.
I think I'm in love. My wife always says to me, you'll never quite understand the phenomenon of this show because you're there, you're that close to it. You don't see the big picture, and I guess not.
I don't think I've worked in anything which has been so genuinely friendly. We just all get on.
It's such a fantastic time doing it.
My name is Ivor Hardy.
John Sullivan and the team. It's a really exciting time in my life.
Everybody smile. Smile, Trigger. I am smiling.
I wanted it to succeed, and everybody who was involved in it worked their rocks off to make that happen. And in the course of that, because we all believed in it and because we all loved it, I hope history will prove that I think we did it pretty well.
So well. You did it so well. You did it as great as anyone could have possibly did it. It's iconic. It's incredible. But that's all we got. You guys got a favorite video suggestion? You can subscribe to Patreon and drop it in the comment section. It's your boy D. Out.